Well, hi everybody. Good morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Tuesday morning where it is a chilly start to our morning, especially for those in eastern Nebraska. Some of the coldest air is right in here this morning where we have some single digits, even a few spots with wind chills below zero, even though there's not that much wind. But I want to point out the wind direction today. A westerly component to the wind is going to help to boost temperatures. This warm front pushing through will help as well. We'll see a mix of clouds and sun today, maybe a little more cloud cover in northern Nebraska. Southeast Nebraska, probably the most sunshine. But notice this trough here, this divide, that west wind right there is really going to help to boost temperatures here. Then comes increasing clouds tonight. And in fact, maybe even some light flurries, maybe even a brief period of light freezing drizzle up north, but then flurries. And here comes a cold front tomorrow. And that is going to lead to a fall in temperatures as the day goes on. So we actually start off decent tomorrow morning. Temperatures will probably peak early in the day and then fall. By the afternoon, we should be much colder than the morning hours, and we'll get some brisk north winds to come along with it. And along with that, maybe a few flurries, very light snow to the west. I don't think it'll amount to much here, but again, you saw it there. Just a little bit of minor moisture. I'll even back up so you can see it once again. So there's that behind that front, a few flurries. But the bigger story is going to be the fall in temperatures. It's going to be pretty rough in the afternoon. It's not going to be real nice out there. Not super windy, but breezy enough just to make it feel colder out there. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, as skies clear up and the winds will lighten up, especially closer to that high that's going to move to our east. I expect some pretty cold temperatures to start off here Thursday. Some of the coldest air of the season in these areas anyway here. That high pressure is where the heart of the cold air will be, and eastern Nebraska will feel it the most. Single-digit lows, if not below zero in a few cases here. Wind chills could be a little bit below zero, although the winds don't look terribly strong in here. But to the west, already developing a south wind, it won't be as cold right in here, especially west of this warm front. That warm front is going to help to usher in our next warm-up Thursday and into Friday here. May also see some areas of fog try to develop late Wednesday night here and low clouds. So you see it there. Those will pass through pretty early, though, and I think we'll get back to mostly sunny skies by Thursday afternoon. So let's take a look at the highs for the next couple of days here. Highs and lows, I should say. Highs today, warming up. Now, I may be going a little too optimistic. My big concern right now is that the snow on the ground could really hold things back. So I would not be surprised if a lot more of these places are stuck in the mid to upper 30s right in here. You could almost take a couple of degrees off of most of these communities here with snow on the ground. But to the west, that's where the best weather will be. Less snow on the ground, a warmer air mass, mid and even maybe a few upper 40s out there tomorrow or for this afternoon. Kind of a closer look at the area for tonight, then we'll drop back into the 20s for lows. So notice, not a terribly cold night out there tonight compared to what we have been seeing recently. The problem is we don't warm up much. Here's your highs tomorrow, and a lot of this is going to be very early in the day tomorrow. Highs mid to upper 20s and low to mid 30s. But in reality, temperatures are actually going to fall through the day. So again, we start off 7 a.m. here. Watch how you go through the day and those temperatures just kind of trend downward. By the end of the afternoon, most of us will be in the 20s. Really the last place to drop off is going to be southwest Nebraska there. These areas won't drop as much. But look at this, only in the teens by the end of the day in northern and eastern Nebraska. And this is where the heart of the coldest air is going to come. That high pressure, which is above my arrow, is going to slide over to here. And so check this out by Thursday morning. Single digit lows. I would not rule out sub-zero readings right in here. Sometimes models tend to not go cold enough. So I would not rule out maybe being a few degrees colder, but not as much of an impact to the west. And this is something you're going to notice in the days ahead. The cold doesn't impact those to the west as much as it does to the east here because we're in this northwesterly flow, so the worst of the cold will be in the east and the northeast. The good news is somewhat of a warm-up on Thursday. Still in the 20s out east, but we could see some low 40s out west, in between 30s for highs. Not as cold Thursday night into Friday morning. Most of us will stay in the 20s for lows, and then looking ahead to Friday, a little bit better yet. And by this point, most of the snow is probably melted off, so we won't have as much of an influence from the snow and ice on the ground here. So highs back up into the low and mid 40s on, and maybe a few upper 30s there on Friday. Let's take a look at that long-range forecast as the weekend does show our next trend of cooler weather to come here. So again, we got the drop in temperatures tomorrow, an early day high on Wednesday. Thursday, a cold start to the morning. We'll try to warm up a little bit there in the afternoon. Friday, better yet. Saturday, starting to come back down. We'll feel it more Saturday night into Sunday. This cold shot's not as brutal, though. Notice the nighttime lows aren't as cold there. And then Monday begins our next warming trend, and we could see some really mild weather settle in next week. As we get into next week, we could be pushing near 50 degrees by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want to go back to the 7-day forecast real quick. I neglected to mention this here, but yesterday, if you were watching, you may have noticed I had moisture chances in the forecast for the weekend. It's not that they're completely gone. It's just so low confidence right now. If we even see anything, it's going to be pretty minimal. So again, there might be some moisture this weekend, and I'll show you in just a bit here on the forecast models. But if we see anything, it's not anything to be concerned about right now. I don't see any major moisture chances. Really, the next couple of weeks, no big-time moisture chances are on the way here. So again, back to that long-range forecast. You see it there. We're going to eventually warm things up. North Platte, again, the cold isn't as cold. Tomorrow's probably as bad as it gets. Tomorrow and into tomorrow night. The drop doesn't even look as dramatic, though, there. We're only down in the teens Thursday morning. And then look at the 40s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the drop on Sunday is not as bad. Around 40 for a high on Sunday, and then 50s, low 50s Monday. We could be close to 60 on Tuesday, and then still low 50s Wednesday, Thursday. So, yeah, North Platte gets the influence of even warmer air because they are farther to the west and to the southwest. So let's first look at the long-range models. Well, actually, first we're going to get to this map here. The Climate Prediction Center still predicting that next week will be above average. I certainly agree with that, as we're going to see that colder air budged away from us a little bit, pushing more towards the eastern U.S. This is classical northwest flow right there. That means the jet stream is moving from northwest to southeast. It's classical northwest flow where you get these occasional shots of colder air, and that's why any cool downs are going to be influencing eastern Nebraska more than they will western Nebraska. Moisture chances, I'm still very iffy on much moisture even into next week. So right now I would agree with the near to below average moisture. Maybe better chances to our north, I think, following that jet stream in here. So better chances in those locations. Again, you'll see some moisture on our models, but it's all fairly minimal. And that includes the flurries tomorrow morning. Really isn't going to amount to a whole lot. Down the road, maybe some limited moisture Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just not a lot though right now. You know, we'll iron that out as we get a little bit closer to that time frame, or at least Luke will, since I will be gone these next few days. Luke will iron that out and kind of give you a better idea if we do see any actual snow accumulation. But right now I think everything is pretty minimal. Even next week, still minor moisture chances. I'm not seeing anything. And look how now, notice everything is starting to shift more to our north and to our east with that jet stream kind of shifting north and east and that milder air building in. The jet stream shifts to our north and east and takes the better chances of moisture in those areas there. So everything kind of misses us in those directions. It's taking a look at the GFS. Now the GFS is a little interesting over the weekend. On Sunday, I believe. Oh, no, Saturday. Does try to hint at maybe a little more snow for us, but it's the outlier right now, so that's why I'm not going with the moisture chance right now for Saturday. But again, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll iron that out as we get closer. Nothing major next week, but we'll keep in chance. These minor chances. We'll see how those play out down the road here. So, and then temperature-wise, again, watch the warm-up to come. Let's take you through the next week and a half here. Little shots of cold air again, influencing eastern and northeast Nebraska more, but eventually the warmer air really pushing in for much of next week. And then looking at the GFS model, same thing. There's one shot of colder air to come. I'll back this up a little bit here. But then we continue to budge that warmer air in more and more as we progress into next week. Well, with that, I do have to get going. So I want to thank you all for watching. I'm off the rest of this week. So I will be back with you on Monday where we're talking about some milder air to come. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you all again on Monday. Take care, and God bless. Bye.